You know what? I don't normally smoke on this show, but tonight has been a bumpy ride. I've had JJ Alexander just before this one at 5 p.m. or 7 p.m. I had Brian Albertson, lovely fellow. We had such a grand time. Little rough around the edges, had a lot to say to a couple people. In general, my next guest here tonight, and I see him, he's holy Caroli. Wow, my boy ain't fucking around, so this is an open forum. So
Mr. Kool-Aid, how are you, sir? I didn't even fucking see you there.
Oh, wow, man. Now that I did not expect, boys and girls.
I got that cannabis virus.
Hey, this is one of those not safe for work, NSFW. Don't show the kids this kind of shit.
Put the kids away for this one. It's put the kids to the bed, hide your wife, hide your kids, hide your bag of weed, and hide your damn beers.
Bag of weed. Stirring the pot with Don Kincaid and my very special guest, and I don't know what the fuck is gonna happen here. Steve Savage, welcome tonight, hanging out with us, the fans. I appreciate your time.
Hey, Don Kool-Aid, great to be here, brother. Great to be here.
Did you just put a little heart? Did you just send me a little heart or some shit?
Oh, because I got mad love for you, brother.
Wow, that's the first one ever right here. Wow, I did not see that coming.
Mad love for you, brother.
Especially for like the first minute as this started. I did not expect a nice, cute little heart coming in.
Hey.
So what we do is we kind of pull back the curtain. We don't have to pull it all the way back. We can have some fun here or there, whatever we want to do. But we don't like to dive into the personal stuff because
let's leave it up for the fans to decide what they believe and what they don't.
Yeah, hey, that's fine.
I'm not Vince McMahon. I'm not going to tell them what to believe.
No. And I stalk you guys enough. I mean, I follow you guys enough on the
me, huh?
No. I didn't mean that. So
what we like to do on a microphone cord with your name on it.
I can't wait to talk about. Stop! Don't fucking get me going, Jesus Christ! Oh my God, I can't wait to talk about that one. What we like to do is pull the curtain back a little bit, maybe halfway back. It's all good. It don't matter. We have fun. We put it on the lighter side. It's a couple friends. Mr. Steve Savage is ready for this shit. Oh my God. We just kind of hang out as friends and we talk to the fans, get to know Steve Savage, if that's your real name. If it isn't, hey, whatever. You don't have to tell us. It's all good too. So obviously, Mr. Steve Savage, you seem to be in well spirits through the whole Kincaid. The Kincaid. You see what I did there? Never mind.
Wait, you gave this shit to the fucking country? Everybody get tested. Kincaid's got the Kincaid.
Nah, man. No. Just pretend I didn't even say that. Whew. Man, that was one of the best cigarettes I've ever had in my life. That was a good one.
That's what she said.
So, Mr. Savage, I don't know a lot about you. So, man, he is ripping that glass piece. Holy shit. Mr. Savage, I don't know a whole, nice piece. A whole lot about you. I've only met you one time and one time only, and holy shit, what a time we had that day, evening, if you will. But I spent many an hour because I was there hours early before it started to kind of get the feel of the place, and we had some fun. Now, I don't know about that kind of fun, but Mr. Steve Savage, could you kind of look at that piece? Could you introduce?
Little Batman action, little Joker action.
Around my parts, that's really not that very legal. Are you in the Massachusetts area, the Colorado area? Where are you right now?
I am the Boston badass. So you can take where that comes from. As to the legality of what I'm doing, I say any legal beagles nosing around, mind your own damn business.
All right, I got that. Just wanted to put it out there because you never know.
I have less than an ounce. It's not going to do anything to me. The cops ain't going to look at me.
Oh, all right. That's cool. Cops don't look at me, too, so we got something in common.
I don't want to look at you either, you bastard.
So, Steve Savage, I met you the very first time. It was a few months back at the Caddy Ranch for WCWE. I have to bring that up because it's the only place I've met you. But pre-show, we had a lot of fun hanging out with the boys and girls in the back, if you will. getting to know you and a couple of the other men and women that I never even met before, but I saw a lot of familiar faces that were there. The Corey Adams and the Justin.
They gave you a T-shirt, man.
Yeah,
They gave you a shirt that night.
they didn't give me jack shit. They kept it for themselves. They made it to poke fun at me.
You can't even wear a gimmick with your own face on it. That sucks.
It's an extra large. What the fuck am I going to wear an extra large for? Do you see me? I'm like 35
Wash
pounds.
it like 4 times. It'll shrink. You'll be all right.
But yeah, we saw the likes of that. And we saw the likes of Aubrey jump into the bike club with Lucas Chase and company. Yeah, I know. We'll get into that. But we saw many a familiar face there. And now you, again, I never met you, but man, you came out of the gate with weapons filled to the brim and a shopping cart. Not just to the brim, overflowing. There was iron boards. There was a fucking all sorts of shit. What makes and again, you're the Boston Badass, but what makes a dude want to come in with a carriage full of fucking weaponry and I don't know, put your body and your life on the line like that?
Well, I've been in this business since 1999. I've done just about every job there is to do. And you know what? At the end of the day, I am not a wrestler. I am not a sports entertainer. I'm coming in there to fight because that's what I do.
Okay. Sounds very familiar. And you have a look. If you look at your profile with the chair, and I'm not saying I am saying you kind of got that just incredible thing going on. It's a little vibe that I can feel off of you. Have you been compared to one Just Incredible at all?
Me and him in the same room. We took a picture together. I wish I still had this picture, but I had just freshly shaved my head. Here's the no shaved head, Steve Savage.
Hey, that's what he looks. Yeah, but
I got
that's
that Captain Picard thing going on.
You guys should do it again. Do a recreation because that's the way he looks too.
Yeah, no, you know what? I would love to tag with PJ. He's a great guy. I've worked with him a few times. He's a great individual. Love the guy to death. I would love to work with him again in any capacity.
I'm telling you, he's been making his face seen not only in our area, well, not in Connecticut, but
he lives out there. I mean,
yeah, but he's been going out to Massachusetts at Battlefront Pro Wrestling. He's been making a splash over there. He's been going abroad doing this ECW reunion thing, doing a couple dates out there. Now him, let me see if I get this right. Him, Sandman, and Shane Douglas, I believe, were supposed to do like a legend, not a legends thing, but like a storytelling kind of thing of the old ECW days until the whole COVID.
Yeah, they were gonna do a panel, and this whole thing just kind of shut everything down. I think they should all set it up like you got it with Skype. We can all just be in our homes and continue business as usual.
You know what? I have a couple connections to one Mr. Just Incredible. Maybe I'll reach out on the face page and be like, "Hey, do I mention you by name to him, or is he gonna just shoot me through the face page?"
I honestly don't know. I've only been in the same building as the guy maybe 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
So, but here's the thing: when I met him, I felt like a mark because here I am. I grew up watching guys like Tommy Cairo, Jason Knight, Just Incredible, Sandman on TV. And here I am now. I'm in locker rooms with these guys. I felt like a mark asking to take a selfie. He hugged me and said, "Brother, relax. Jason told me a lot about you." So that's got to say something for me, Well,
we have some history to talk about, but I want to kind of still staying in the present because at WCW,
Brother, I'm out of work until further notice. This interview can go on as long as you feel like going it.
Well, I didn't even think it was going to last this long. I thought you were going to like shut this fucking thing down in like 3 or 4 minutes. So I've lasted way longer than I expected.
No. I only act like an asshole. I'm not actually one.
So at WCW, again, carriage full of weaponry. You were going against Lucas Chase.
Yep.
Now, the belts are always on the line at WCW, which I kind of like. There's usually only a few matches, 4 or 5 or so. And the there hasn't been a ring, but I think they're going to bring it in and kind of mix it up a little bit because they do more of a bar brawl situation. That seems to be right up your alley.
That's my wheelhouse. That's my wheelhouse right there. People have said, Steve Savage doesn't belong on the top rope. He doesn't belong trying to chain wrestle people. But you put a chair or a kendo stick or a dick on a microphone cord in my hand, I can get pretty dangerous.
That was something interesting to behold. And on my said footage, I have done a dildo footage before, double-headed from One Len Oddity. I know we'll dive into that later. Dive into the dildo. Never mind.
At least you said dive into and not dive onto.
You went against Lucas Chase for the was it the BST? The WCWE? I can't remember because there's a little
WCWE title. I know he has two belts. One is BST and the other one was WCWE. I was going for the WCWE one.
So, but that's right up your alley because it's a barroom brawl. And you guys brought out the weaponry. You kind of took all the stops were out. And when I do mean all the stops, as Mr. Savage said, he's kind of mentioned a dildo with a keyboard cord hooked up to it. Not once, but maybe twice, maybe thrice already since we've started talking. Your choice of weaponry. Could you talk about that in the carriage because it was an array of weaponry?
Well, the carriage I found outside the Cadillac Ranch behind the dumpster.
No, you did not.
I hand to God, I'm not going to drive 2 hours with a carriage strapped to the roof of my car. I found it out there, and I was like, all right, well, at least now I don't have to hide the weapons somewhere in the building because believability factor. Why is there an ironing board in the back of the bar? I basically grabbed whatever I could find at the house that I was like, oh, what can I beat the crap out of somebody with? And I was like, all right, this will hurt. This will hurt. This will really hurt. And then, this will get a laugh.
Now, the laugh part, said dildo with a keyboard plugged into it. And I'm not getting into your personal life or nothing, but where does one come of in possession of a dildo at the ready, if you will?
It's actually the part of a machine. The machine's got a little ramrod on it. The dildo plugs into the machine. You plug the machine into the wall, and the dildo starts doing this.
Wait, you've got one of those at your house?
There is one present in the building. It's not personally mine. I did steal the phallus for use in the match.
Wow. Did you see that coming tonight, boys and girls? We were, I think I dove into a little.
It's called a fuck machine. It's.
I was just about to say we dove a little too deep with one Mr. Savage into the fuck. Dove too deep with a fuck machine. No, never mind.
So you want to get into my sex life, or do you want to get into the wrestling life?
No, but I had to find out where the dildo came from. I was very curious because they don't come. I would
imagine like everything else from a sex store or Amazon or something.
Hey, but you never know. Like you never know. Like you said, you had
wherever it's fucking made.
Hey, you just surprised us. You had one handy, so hey, that's all the better because I don't know. But anyways, you had this thing hooked up to a keyboard, right? And
microphone cord.
A microphone cord. I'm sorry. And I happened to see you pre-show. Now, boys and girls, you're gonna fucking love this. Now, pre-show, I see just kind of Mr. Savage twirling around like it's just like a regular microphone, just kind of hanging out in the back. And I see him from a distance. And when I pre-show, my eyes are everywhere.
This was a good rib battle.
I got to look at everything because I got to catch the cool, fun shit. So I see him twirling a dildo attached to something. I go rolling over there and I go, what you got there? And he's like, it's a dildo attached to a microphone cord. I go, oh, no shit. I go, let's go have some fun. Pretend you're going to do an interview. Do you see that guy over there, RJ Boom? He's like, what guy? I go, that dude right there with the dark hair. His name is RJ Boom, but nowadays we call him Salty Boom. If you could do me a solid, go roll over there with said dildo and use it like a microphone and do like a mock interview real quick. He's like, fuck yeah, let's go do this. And son of a bitch, Steve Savage goes over there and holy shit.
It started off the most professional interview opening at an indie show ever.
Yeah. Continue, please, because my rib is hurting from just thinking of it.
I went over to RJ and I said, RJ, come here. Let me interview you a little bit. We got you to talk to the camera. He's like, yeah, sure, no problem, because he's got the ego. He'll go in front of a camera anytime he can.
God, so fucking funny.
So I said, now, Mr. Salty Boom, we're here at WCWE. What are your thoughts on tonight? I pull out the dick and I shove it about 2 inches away from his chin. The look of sheer horror on this guy's face. I swear to God, I thought he was ready to run.
Dude.
I wonder if you can actually, before you upload this, cut that little piece and show it in like the bottom corner or some shit.
I've never released that, ever. I've never released that footage except privately with you guys.
Why not? Just pop it in this. What better time to show it?
All right. So what I'm going to do, we're running at 15 minutes now. I'll look at about 13 minutes or so. Well, that's probably about where it was. And I can take it and make it like a watermark maybe and put it in the corner like you're saying.
Yeah, like my little screen gimmick is up here in the top right.
Oh, my God. You know what? For a guy who hits a glass piece pretty often, you're a fucking genius, man.
I don't know much, but I know a little bit about everything.
Dude,
I'm not like fucking Raven smart. There's a span of about 4 years that's really fucking fuzzy to me. But I'm nowhere near Mensa student. I don't really excel at anything, but I happen to try a little bit of everything, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
So I'd like to go follow through said event, and then we can kind of maybe see, because I bounce around. So if you just follow me, I hope you'll be okay.
Whatever you want, brother.
Yeah, cool. So you have said dildo. We have some fun with it. It was a blast. The show is moving on. You have your match with Lucas Chase. Yeah. Don't kill the messenger. We were all there. You came up just a tad short with intervention, might I say? With intervention,
there was, Baroness. She wanted to, she came out with me. We were gonna hang out, have a little party after, have a couple of drinks. I was gonna walk away with the gold. That was the plan. And then the numbers game, because not only was Lucas Chase out there, but also Corey Adams was out there. Seven was not there, and there was one other member of the bike club out there at the time. Wasn't there? No? Am I losing my shit?
Corey Adams, Lucas Chase, Baroness. I want to say there's one more, and I feel bad if I'm forgetting them, but not really, because I hate the bike club. The bike club sucks.
It's the bike club. I'm not that worried about it.
No, either am I. So yeah, you named a couple. That's fine.
Yeah, but then Baroness, she came out with me. She didn't seem like she was really too into the match to begin with. Come on, Steve, come on. It's a bar brawl. I have a manager. Why wasn't she helping me out? So in the back of my mind, this is all happening. And every time I look at her thinking she's going to help me out, I get Pearl Harbored by Chase. I fucked up my ankle. I threw my back out of alignment going through the damn Jenga blocks.
That was fun. Never mind.
No. Honestly, I got him with one. He got me with one. It's fair.
That was fucking amazing. Now, boys and girls, talk about Jenga, giant Jenga, 2 stacks on these like crates or something. They were all stacked up, and I think actually pre-show he wanted to put me through it and be like, hey, Kincaid, let's give this a whirl, see how it would look. And I'm like, fuck that. No way in hell. Dude, great spot. That was really fun.
Yeah, I fucked up my back on that. When he threw me through my stack, 2 bricks, one landed flat like this, the other landed up like this, and my back, upon going through the stack, landed directly on that spot. So the left side of my lower back, right near my tailbone, was swollen up to about that big for about. The swelling actually just went down early last month.
Wow, that sounds fucking horrible.
My ankle was broken in that match. I never had it checked out because of all this COVID stuff. I ain't going to no hospital. That's what duct tape's for. But you know what? All in all, I have no regrets about that match. I came up a little short, but next time he won't be so lucky.
Well, during said match, a very fun spot for me, personally, because I was there. Being selfish on this one, uh, you took that, ooh, you took that dildo and
I
you
lubed
shined
that sumbitch up.
with your own spit, might I say. You lubed it all, shined it up real nice, and you didn't turn it sideways. You were gonna jam that sumbitch right up the old poop chute of Lucas Chase, and man, did he stop that whole madness.
He rolled over with a quickness, and then he took it to the face about 4 times. So it just depends on how you want to look at that, whether you'd want to get hit in the ass with a dildo once, or would you rather get hit in the face with a wet dildo 3-4 times?
Mr. Savage, thank you so much for that. That was one of the most enjoyable spots I've ever seen.
I'll tell you what, I'll sign the dick and I'll give it to you.
Wait, is it back on the fuck machine and being used? Because I'd rather not touch
it. Has never been used other than in that match.
Oh, I'm in then. I'm down.
I will sign that shit tonight, and when I'm assuming at the next WCWE show in June 5th, if it still happens, you're going to be there.
Well, I'll be there because I have fun at WCW. First off, it's a little different than most, but now you're going to be interjecting a ring into the company because it's been a little different. It's more of a bar brawl. Anything goes all the time. There's usually about 4 or 5 matches, and we have fun. And when I was talking, shit.
Oh, go ahead. Bring it up. Go ahead.
I was talking about WCWE. I do 3 interviews a night after work. You are the 3rd interview of the evening. We are capping off with Steve Savage, but right at 7 o'clock, I had one Brian Albertson on, and we were talking WCWE, and I kind of brought up your name. He got heated, not once, maybe twice or 3 times or so. I don't know, something like that. But anywho, I asked him what the fuck was going on with you guys because I thought there was some kind of heat being generated somewhere because you challenged him to a hardcore match, which I don't know what the fuck you're doing right there. And again, I know I'm talking to you right here, and I hope you don't kill me for. Well, you ain't gonna kill no.
Him. I didn't challenge him to a match at all.
A hardcore match?
Is he asking for one?
No, but that's what I'm to understand, that you challenged him to a hardcore match at the end of the match because you were an irate person and you wanted to take it out on somebody, and you supposedly challenged him to a hardcore match. I could look back at the footage and maybe see for myself, and maybe we could get back on the DMs. I'll slide you a DM.
Yeah, I don't recall challenging him, but if he wants a fight, he can bring it on. I have no problem with Brian Albertson. I respect the man. He's a good dude. We actually live in the same city.
Oh.
So, like on the shoot, Brian Albertson lives maybe 10 minutes down the road from me.
Huh. I gotta look back at that footage because now I
have no problems with the guy, but I'll go to his house right now and start knocking on his door if he wants to start shit. Fuck the lockdown.
Hey, I didn't mean to get you all riled up because I'm not always all there. So let me double check the footage just for proof, please. Yes, get your Zen, just for proof, because I would hate to put it out there and not know what's what and what is what.
If he wants to go, I'll go. Brian Albertson, brother, I respect you, but if you want to get in the ring with me, whatever, man. May the best man win. We'll beat the ever-loving piss out of each other after and go have a beer.
And if it's in a hardcore setting, I have to say I haven't seen a whole lot of you, only that one match, and we're going to dive into that. But have you always been in a hardcore scene? Because Brian Albertson, that dude can take some abuse, give some abuse. He can bleed like a motherfucker. I've really seen him bleed waterfalls.
You know what? Bleeding is bleeding. Anybody can bleed. Any asshole on earth can bleed. I hit you enough times, you'll be wearing a crimson mask that'll make Mick Foley look like he's on his period.
Oh, no, let's not do that. No.
I won't. I'm not gonna, but I'm just saying I could.
Okay. Yeah, so you could.
If Brian Albertson wants to go and leave Club One a bloody mess, I'm down. Ring, no ring, parking lot, boiler room. I'm not there to wrestle. I'm there to fight. This is anger management therapy for me. My therapist said I needed to get my anger out. I started doing hardcore matches maybe about 7 to 8 years ago.
Dude, you've been hardcoring it for just about a decade right now.
Yep. like I said, been in the business since '99, and when I broke in, I was essentially jobber to the stars. When you try to wrestle and you try to be a wrestler and try to play that corporate game that every company wants you to play, I'm not one to kiss anybody's ass, and I'm not one to really pull any punches. I will do my job because you're paying me to do it. But at the same time, I had a guy one time during a match. I'm going to shoot this one. I was booked to go over. I'm not going to name names. I was booked to go over in a promotion that no longer exists. And this guy just started, I don't want a fucking job to you. I don't want a job to you. I'm like, you're not jobbing. We're going to have a good match. And this kid maybe just fresh out of training. And I was always one to just lose every match. I've lost more matches than I've won because let's face it, if you're in the professional wrestling or sports entertainment business and you're worried about a win-loss record, go play another sport. If you decide you're going to want to take advantage of me when I'm working with you, that's when I take offense. Because at the end of the day, the key word is professional. And if you're not going to be professional in the ring with me, why am I going to be professional in the ring with you? So this guy's trying to stiff shots, everything, just square to the face. Nothing is work. He's not calling his spots. He's throwing me around like a rag doll because he outweighed me by about 100 pounds. I'm 6'1", 240. This guy was like 6'6", 325, 330.
Oh my God.
So this was a dude that was manhandling me. And somehow something happened where the ref ended up taking a bump. I don't even remember. And he shit cans me outside. And at this point, I'm pissed off because my head hit the barrier on the outside of the ring when he threw me. First fan I see, I push him out of his chair, take the chair, jump in the ring, crack him in the skull with it, and the entire crowd just, yeah! Biggest pop of my fucking life. So after that, I said, well, kendo sticks, chairs, works for me. I did a kendo stick gimmick in New Jersey for a little while around like 06, 07. And Iron Man Tommy Cairo was backstage at NWA Coastal. And the promoter goes up to me and says, hey, that Tommy Cairo's here. And I said, oh, shit. Because if you don't know, for those that don't know, Tommy Cairo and back in Eastern Championship Wrestling brought the Singapore Cane match to the mainstream world up and down the East Coast. So out of respect to Tommy, I went over and asked him, and to Tommy's credit, I love this guy. He takes the stick, smacks himself in the head with it 4 times, says, I'm here backstage. I ain't working. Take it. Go ahead.
Oh, my God.
And then I did a show again in New Jersey it was a show called Retire Mania. The promoter was putting one last show on with his buddies. And I brought the kendo stick. Tommy Cairo managed me that night, and my tag team partner was ECW's Panther.
Oh, wow.
So we went out against Team Simply Splendid, Bobby C. and Sir Christopher Michaels, and we beat the ever-loving shit out of them. End of the night, I'm putting my stick there. Tommy comes over, signs it, The Passing of the Cane. Good luck, brother, Tommy Cairo.
Now that's amazing. I didn't mean to take anything away from that, but you were in a hardcore match with Team Splendid?
The match got thrown together. I was originally supposed to be there with LaRon Bowman, who was in the Jersey circuit for a very long time till he moved to Atlanta. So now he's working down there. His flight got canceled that show, so we kind of threw that tag match together just because we all drove out there. We all got to do something. And you know what? We all had a great time.
That just totally threw me for an absolute fucking curveball right there. Holy cow.
It was actually held at Matt Tremont's building out in Jersey, the H2O Arena.
Yeah, H2O, yeah. Now, I've never been out there. How is that place? I hear the vibe is insane.
The building is great. It's a wonderful place. It's a very small, intimate setting. You're not going to fit 1,000 people in there. But if you get a good sellout crowd, what we did was only a studio taping. So it was friends and family. This was strictly for this promoter just so he could finally say goodbye to the business.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like there were maybe 20, 30 people. But they were hot all night.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, the place is great. The people are great. There was nothing wrong with that venue, and I will work at that venue, any promotion, anytime, anywhere.
So as you get to feel you get that vibe for the hardcore style from that Big Pop, and it kind of just transitioned your whole career path in wrestling.
It kind of resurrected my career because being, as like I said, the jobber to the stars, I've wrestled in 75 different companies in almost 20 years.
How come I've never fucking heard of you?
Because most of it was in Rhode Island in the late 90s, early 2000s, before everybody had a camera in their phone, before the era of YouTube, before the marks got smart, really.
Okay. Huh. You've been hitting that piece quite regularly. May I ask, what strain would you be partaking in the glass piece? Do you have any clue?
I'm embarrassed to even show this strain on camera, but if it's free, it's for me, so I'm not going to care.
Hey, free for me is good stuff. I was just kind of curious.
No, normally I say this to every dispensary, every store, every plug, every guy on the street that I got in my phone book. Don't give me the fucking science lesson. I just want to get stoned and feel good.
Yeah, because you could call anything a good name. It doesn't mean that it's good when you hit it.
There's a reason I signed my autograph, Steve Savage 840. It usually means I'm twice as high as you think I am.
Okay. That is triggering something for me. I used to go to Yankee Pro way back at like Wolcott Fairs.
Vertebraker. Are you going to say Vertebraker?
Yeah.
I wrestled in the same company. I'm sorry. No, I wasn't even wrestling in the company at the time. I was doing ring crew and security for Primal Conflict Wrestling with Vertebraker, Jose Perez, the SATs, Amazing Red were all down there. Vertebraker was a great guy. Funny story about him. The ring was about an hour late. So we're all there. And somebody opens up their trunk, pulls out a wiffle ball and a fucking bat. Vertebraker pulls out a stop sign, and we're going to have a little wiffle ball game in the parking lot before the ring gets there. Me being the smart ass that I am, I felt so bad about it now, but now here it is 20 years later, I can laugh. About 20 years later, I can laugh about it. He's running the bases, and as he's heading towards home plate, I pick up home plate, which is a stop sign, and I stop just short because I'm like, it's a parking lot. There's no cameras. I don't want to hurt the guy. He keeps running face first into it, 16 stitches right over the corner of his eye. He looked at me and said, well, at least I know where I'm going to gig tonight, but now I got to explain to everybody why I'm bleeding when I walk in the building.
Oh, my fucking...
He's sitting there getting his paint on. He's like, you motherfucker, this burns.
Holy shit. See, these are the things. This is why I do this show, Mr. Savage, because if we were just hanging out at a show, and I know we were together for a few hours, but I mean, just in general, as a fan, and you get to mingle with the fans or whatever, we wouldn't hear these kind of stories. So that's why I like to do this shit.
That's why I love doing these things, because at the shows, you're not supposed to tell stories like that. That's what these interviews are for.
Yeah, man. Now, I did notice you and I don't want to put this out there because I hate the effing Bike Club. You were on a podcast, if I can remember, as recently as yesterday, last night, if you will.
Yep, that podcast actually goes up Wednesday on Spotify and iTunes.
With one Corey Adams. My question, since I've seen that announcement, is what the fuck?
You know what? That entire thing wasn't done in character. There was no characters going. Corey's just doing this podcast. He's got guys from all over the place. And he even says, I've known you forever before I started doing the bike. Because myself and Corey Adams, we've known each other for a very long time. Okay. I used him a lot as a referee when I was promoting. And we've been in the same locker rooms a lot of times. I've wrestled for WCWE one other time besides the time you saw me. Mm-hmm. And it was, it is what it is. We have history. but at the same time, I have no personal beef with him because he's never done me wrong. And at the same
Okay.
time, if he's gonna pay me $40 to do an interview, I'll take the $40 to do the fucking interview.
Wait. Whoa.
Oh no, yours is free.
Oh,
Yours is free. You're my fucking agent, bro.
but that was hilarious when you ever said that.
You gotta get me fucking work, bro.
Talk about popping like a mark. Whenever you said that,
Christ, I sound like Vince fucking Russo, bro. Let me tell you, bro. Fuck me.
Whenever you said Kincaid is my new agent, I popped like a fucking mark, dude.
Good. You were supposed to. Are you kidding me? The first time in my career, I'm a fucking babyface intentionally.
Man, did we have fun?
Booked as the baby. It's not the crowd just happens to like me. I'm booked as the fucking baby, and that don't happen very often. So I'm gonna run with that shit as long as I fucking can.
Yeah, man. Do you like to play the villain better? Because I hear that playing the villain is a lot easier than playing the face.
Well, it's a lot easier to get somebody to hate you than to get somebody to love you.
Yeah, that's true.
It's real easy. You go out and say, I don't need your admiration. You suck. This town sucks. There's not a single person in this town worthy of getting in the ring. How easy is that to get a crowd up your ass and wanting to kill you?
Mm-hmm.
I've been booked as the heel, and I've received a couple of death threats. I've received police escorts out of buildings. It's a matter of knowing the audience and knowing what's going to trigger them to elicit a response. FTW in New York, back then, it was 2006, I believe. They were known as Fuck the World Wrestling. Now they're Fight the World. I did a show with them, and the gimmick was I was basically there to do a job. They were taking my tag team partner, Nick Paradise, and making him part of their Team New Era stable. So he was going to turn on me. Boom, I take the finish. The three of them kick the shit out of me. At the time, my entrance music was Insane Clown Posse's Chicken Hunt. Long blonde hair. I had shiny silver and black spandex tights. And the second Nick Paradise came out first to an okay pop. The second Chicken Huntin' hit, if you've ever heard the song, you know the way it starts. Dan out, tink, dan out. 500 people in this building on their fucking feet before I even went through the curtain. I go through the fucking curtain. The first 3 rows all around, they're all wearing Hatchet gear. They got the jerseys. They got the ICP shirts. They got the hats. I'm like, well, this didn't work the way they wanted it to. And we did everything we were supposed to do. I took an ass whooping, got beat with my own kendo stick. And as they shit-canned me out, 3 guys from the crowd in the front row pulled me up over the barricade and started, family, fam, all because of my entrance music. I had to do jack shit that match. They automatically loved me because of my entrance music. It was the strangest thing ever, and I was never invited back, and I cannot find footage of that show anywhere. Earl Cooter, if you're listening, Big Jim Sullivan, if you're watching this, I want a copy of that show.
We as fans are easy as MFers. You can do anything just about, and we suck it up pretty much.
It was a very strange experience. I was like, this is my first time in this company. They have no idea who I am, but my entrance music made it sound like I was Steve Austin coming out at WrestleMania after a 10-year absence.
Now, you seem to have a history in wrestling. The way you speak of companies and past companies and your tenure as doing that transition of a hardcore wrestler and stuff. Has it always been Steve Savage through this whole journey?
There's been many iterations. There's been Sexy Steve Star, which was kind of like a Val Venus porn star ripoff, but because I've never been in really that physical specimen, it didn't get over. There was Synapsis. It was a masked luchador gimmick, but then I realized I don't flip and fly around, so I have no business being on the top rope at all. Axed that after about 2 shows. So, I mean, it took a while. And then I actually said this on Corey's show because Ray had asked me how I got the name Steve Savage.
Okay.
And because Steve is my first name, my last name is Lawrence. And there's been guys that I've known for fucking years that were like, dude, I didn't know that was your real name until I saw you on Facebook. I was like, brother, I went to college with you for 3 years. And he had no idea that Steve Savage wasn't my real name.
That's awesome.
But, I was doing a show in Manchester, New Hampshire. This was early 2002, 2003. And it was just before Randy had died. Because I think Randy passed in what, 08, 09-ish?
Yeah, it was around
somewhere around there. Randy was doing an autograph signing there. It was a charity show. And now me being a smartass, I'm like, look, I'm losing the match anyway. I'm going to try to get a pop. DDT my opponent, because let's face it, that's one of my 5. That's one of my 5. Everybody's got 5. That's it for me. I say stay there. For only, I think, the 3rd time in my career, I get up on the top rope. I look over at Randy's table. He's watching the match. He's actually watching the whole fucking show while signing autographs.
Shit.
I point to him. I put the arms up. I come off with the elbow drop. 1-2 kick out, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Match finishes. I'm getting dressed. I'm heading to my car. He's heading to his car. He looks at me and goes, hey, brother, that was a hang on. Hey, brother, that was a pretty good elbow drop there. You might want to think about changing your last name to Savage, huh?
And that's how you got
fucking stuck. Here I am, a fucking jobber, and Randy Savage is telling me to change my last name to his.
That's insane, dude.
And it just stuck. It makes sense because Fred Richards, former NWA vice president, former World Wrestling Federation referee, former vice president of NWA Coastal, ran multiple promotions. He told me when coming up with names that it's got to sound good coming out of an announcer. It's got to look good on a marquee. And if you keep it to 2 syllables, it sounds great. Jeff Hardy. Sounds great. John Cena. Steve Savage.
Now, what was the first one again? Sexy Steve Star?
Sexy Steve Star. It was kind of like a porn star gimmick, a la Val Venus. Yeah.
Okay. It doesn't
Except
have
it was
quite...
comedy because, let's face it, I'm a fucking fat kid.
So the not two-toned guy trying to pull it off, it just didn't even feel right.
It got over where it got over. I did it. It got a laugh. It actually got me a blowjob one night, not gonna lie. But it didn't feel right because it wasn't me. The best gimmicks are you turned way up.
We talk a lot about that on this show, Mr. Savage, like big time, because it's hard to and I'll sound repetitive here, but it's hard to start like you were trying to find your way. Sexy Steve Star to Steve Savage, there's a journey from point A to point Z or point X or wherever you're at.
The way the business went for me is because I was jobbing, we should probably start with how I broke into the business.
Okay, sure.
I had a friend that was working for RF Video at the time. They had kiosks at every mall in the country selling tapes. Yes, tapes. For those of you who don't know, it's a big black fucking thing like this. You put it in a big thing like this, and if the machine's too fucking old, the tape comes out like this. But we were selling tapes, CZW, Ring of Honor stuff, and JC Marks owned Northeast Championship Wrestling, I believe. And I started doing color commentary for him because my friend worked at that store. So I met JC and I started doing commentary. And then when I turned 18, NWA New England had a training school right near my house. So I went, I signed up. I was starting training. Maybe 6 months in, I got my first match. 3 months after that, the school was closed down and I was basically on my own for bookings. So I did what I thought you were supposed to do, and it seemed to work for me pretty well. Kobe. And it seemed to work well. I would show up with my bag, early, like 2-3 hours before bell time. And if this is a pro tip for the young guys that don't really know how to get a lot of work, you show up, you stick with the locker room etiquette. You ask the promoter, hey, do you need any help setting up, tearing down? I'm trying to get some work. If you use me, great. If not, I'll still help you set up and tear down. That's how you network. That's how you get your name in everybody's phone. Respect goes a very long way in this business, because if you mouth off to the guy loading the ring into the truck at the end of the night, guess what? If you need a ring rental, that guy's probably not going to rent to you. Or if he's the promoter, you're probably never getting fucking booked again. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of yes, sir, no, sir, 3 shit bags full, sir. But any time I saw wrestling on a flyer, I would find the venue. I would go 3 hours early, help set up. You would be surprised how many times guys don't show up to shows, cancel the day of, shit just happens. And I've gotten thrown in so many battle royals, tag matches, singles matches, 3-way dances, 6-mans. I had so many matches in the course of the first 10 years of my career at so many different promotions that I was never around any one promotion long enough to make a name for myself. Mm-hmm. And then in 2008, when the economy collapsed the first time of our generation, wrestling kind of took a hit. A lot of promotions closed their doors, mine included, and a lot of guys were left, out in the dust. So I stopped wrestling in like the Rhode Island, Mass area, remotely close to my house, because a lot of the guys that wrestle around here, just on a personal level, we don't gel. There's going to be heat. There's going to be issues. And I have anger management issues enough as it is, which why hardcore wrestling is good for me. It's the best therapy, and I don't have to spend $200 an hour for it.
I feel that. Yeah, I can feel that.
So for me, it was just a way to get myself out there. And then I start branching out into these other companies, and these other companies, I don't know what it was, but they either wanted to give me something, or they said, well, you're better than a fucking jobber. You've been jobbing for 10 years. Let's give you something. Some companies did, some companies didn't. But you know what? After 20 years and I'm still going, I'm not wrestling every week or every month. Maybe every other couple of months I'll do a show, make my appearance, because I'm closer to 40 than I am to 20. And my goal was never to actually get to that upper echelon WWF, WCW level. I was lucky enough to work for both of those companies at one point in an off-camera capacity, or as an extra in an on-camera capacity. But I knew that once they hire you and you're an extra, here's your $100, go home, we'll call you if we need you. Mm-hmm. So I was okay with that. I had gotten there, I gotten in the door, and I'm okay with it. I was never doing this to become famous. I was doing this to have a little fun, to entertain myself a little. Mm-hmm. If you're in this business for money, get out. Because if you're not a pay-per-view star and you can't buy your action figure at Walmart, there's not a whole hell of a lot of money in this business. If you don't have that weekly national exposure.
It's all about passion and just wanting to do what you got to do. Like you were saying, get to the shows, help out. You might get put on the show that very first time, or the next time that you be, hey, why don't you come back on X date and maybe we can work something out. You never know what the hell could happen.
Exactly. I went from doing commentary, doing ring crew, being a referee, being a manager. My theory is if you have a bag with a bunch of different gimmicks in it, throw a ref shirt and a pair of dress pants and dress shoes in there too, because you never know what any promoter is going to need. Mm-hmm. I take the Bruce Pritchard route. There's a bag of gimmicks.
So you've obviously been in the game for a while. I'm kind of curious. You've talked about working with credible Jason Knight and stuff. And I'm not comparing you to Justin, but I feel like when I talk to Justin, because I have on the side, um, you seem very similar in the way you speak and the knowledge that comes from your experience.
Credible's been in the business a very long time, a lot longer than I have. He's made it a lot further than 90% of the guys on the indie circuit today can even think about reaching.
Mm-hmm.
So with guys like that, you listen to them. I subscribe to his YouTube channel. Excuse me. I subscribe to his YouTube channel. I subscribe to any podcast that any of the ECW originals are on. I am a fan of, because it's what I grew up watching. I grew up watching the WWF in the late 80s, early 90s. But when ESPN started showing Eastern Championship Wrestling at 2 o'clock on a Sunday morning, and I snuck downstairs at like 12 years old to watch this, and I see Tommy Cairo and the Sandman beating the shit out of each other. I see Terry Funk and Shane Douglas going at it. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is better than anything I've seen. These guys are real. You know what Credible told me one day? I don't even know if I'm going to get heat for saying this. I don't even care if I do. Because these days it's 2020. If people don't know it's all a work by now, I feel for them. Terry Funk and Sabu did it for real so the rest of us could fake it. Credible was telling me a story where Terry Funk and Sabu were going out there with barbed wire, tearing each other up, while him and Raven are sitting there cutting the pins off most of it. So to me, that says a lot, because you got guys like that literally put their bodies on the line night after night all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
Just to make it so guys like me can still do it in a believable manner, to where there's that gray area in between. There's the guys that are obviously fake. There's the guys that you can tell when something's real. And if you've been a fan long enough, you can tell, even watching stuff on TV, you can now see when they're talking to each other, when the spots are called. I can tell you when they're going to reverse somebody from an Irish whip. You start seeing shit like that, and it smartens you up a little. So then you start asking questions to the vets, and the vets that are willing to answer those questions are the ones that are willing to help you.
Do you, because I've asked this maybe 2 or 3 times. Do you find most of the vets that you've dealt with over the course, because you've been in it a little bit longer than most that I've talked to, do you find they've been more helpful, or more haven't, been, hey kid, maybe you should try this instead of that, or hey, I saw this, maybe you should do this?
It hasn't been so much as that. It's been more me asking questions about the business end of it. Okay. Because any asshole can go out there, jump in the ring, and put on a 10-minute match. Whether it's going to be a good match or a bad match doesn't matter. But the business aspect of it, the way things are supposed to be done, the way things, I didn't approach them like a mark. Shit, you know what Jimmy Snuka said to me when I met him the first time? Hey brother, let's go out back and smoke this joint. Like I'm going to say no to that. So it all depends on who the vet is and where they are in life. Because I know I've had some dark times. Lord knows Credible's had his ups and downs. It's part of the business. We all have our issues. We can't all be that I'm on poster boy all the time. And when you see a guy like that and he's willing to help you and he's still pulling himself up out of the trenches every time he falls back, it makes you want to be better in the business. So when you talk to guys like that, you tend to learn a little more. I learned more on how to run a back room from a 2-hour phone conversation with Bill Alfonso than I have in 20 years of hanging out in locker rooms.
I am to understand that Bill Alfonso is one of the very smartest guys in wrestling ever.
Absolutely. I learned more in the, like I said, 2-hour phone conversation I had with the guy. Never been in the same room, never shook his hand. 2-hour phone call with the guy. He was kind enough to say, hey, here's my number. Give me a call. We'll talk.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
So guys like that, I am honored to call these guys my friends because I grew up watching them on TV. I grew up with their action figures and their posters. And the fact that I can call these guys up, or I can hit them up on the DM anytime, or if we're in the same locker room, it's if it's a locker room or a Fed that I've never been to and a couple of those guys are there, at least I know I have somewhere I can go and somebody I can talk to.
Mm-hmm.
The business itself is changing too. So it's going to be pretty soon the vets that are willing to help you are not going to be there. And there's going to be guys that are up and coming, the guys that are the same 5 guys that are on every poster in the Northeast are going to be the grizzled vets of television. When I was working for RF Video and doing ring crew for Ring of Honor, AJ Styles was there. And I'm sorry, I'm going to call it like I see it. AJ, you were an asshole then. It's, so unless a guy like that grows up a little and decides he actually wants to help the people he tried kicking me out of the show because I didn't have a pass. I looked at him and said, brother, I put the ring together. Turn your ass around. And I went back out and talked to Sid and hung out with him at the ticket table. But it's one of those things. The business is changing so much to where if these guys don't grow up a little bit and start thinking, well, I'm not going to be at the top of my game forever.
Mm-hmm.
Because I guarantee you AJ Styles ain't going to be doing this when he's pushing 60. Kevin Owens ain't going to be doing this when he's pushing 60. Guys are getting older. The business is evolving, and the wrestlers themselves need to evolve too. Just the way things get handled.
Do you still watch what's on TV now, as in wrestling?
I catch it here and there when I see a match with names that I know that could be interesting. I was really into AEW when they started. I enjoyed a lot of what they put out. Wrestling to me is like ice cream. You get people that are wrestling fans, they'll go to anything with a ring in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
They'll go to any show, live pro wrestling, no names on the fucking card, but come on in, we'll watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got the fans of specific wrestlers who will show up only if this wrestler is booked. That's the way to become a draw. But at the same time, if you're only in it for yourself, then the business is going to suffer, because when promotions close because of lack of attendance, that's less places to work.
Mm-hmm.
The less places there are to work, the more of us that are going to be sitting on our ass at home, no offense, doing these interviews trying to make a couple of bucks. And I don't want to be that guy pushing 50 trying to hawk 8x10s at a convention, and that's what I'm doing for a living. I don't want to be that guy.
So where do you see yourself in wrestling? Because you've been in it a while. Now you're doing this hardcore thing, not every weekend, like you said. You do it sporadically. But I mean, how much longer do you see yourself doing this?
I'm not gonna say I'm gonna walk away, because as many times as they've always said it's Steve Savage's last match, how many times has Terry Funk retired? How many times has Mick Foley retired? How many times did Shawn Michaels retire? So in wrestling, you never retire, because let's face it, in the real world, you retire. You're at one place for 25 years. They give you a gold watch and a cake at the end of your term. There's not that for wrestling. We don't retire. We either break down and physically can't go anymore. We walk away from the business, which I've done a couple of times, or like me now, your bookings just get further apart. I'm actually using interviews like this and Behind the Curtain and any other interview I do as a way to get my name out there to the fans, to the wrestlers, to the promoters that don't know who I am, as a way of saying, hey, this guy, maybe he's got something, maybe he doesn't. And all I can say to that is, have me come in. Have me come in for one match. If you like what I do, we can talk. If not, tell me to piss off. I'll go home. Hey, thank you, sir, for having me out. It was a pleasure. I hold no ill will. But don't say I'm not going to book this guy just because I don't know who he is.
Mm-hmm.
Because I guarantee there's a lot of guys that are sick of seeing the same 20 guys on every flyer for every company.
Yeah, and that's what, I'll use like Test of Strength for an example because they're my local area and I go to all of their shows. They have their home, their homebred students, the
Which, if you
firm.
have a school, is fine. But if you
Right,
just own a ring and you're putting shows together,
right. But like when they have their homebred students, which is cool because we get to see the evolution of those guys specifically. But then you get all of these other cool people from New York City, New York State, and just different areas of the New England wrestling scene, and they get up there for Slick, and they put on a hell of a show. But it's so cool because you get to see a diverse roster all the time, even
oh,
though they have kind
Wagner
of a
runs.
mainstay roster.
Wagner
Yeah,
runs. Nice, nice. I worked with
yeah.
Wagner the last WCWE show back in 2005.
Oh, okay.
I didn't work
Yeah,
with Wagner, but we were in the same locker room. Talked to him,
that is.
great guy.
Dude, this place, once a Sunday, they would do a training day. It's in-house, very small, about 30 chairs or so. That's their home shows. Then just about a year and a half ago or so, not even that long, they started doing their road shows. We like to call them pay-per-view shows as a fans, kind of
When
it
they're not
seems
at their
pretty cool.
school, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah,
Yeah,
we have
Showcase
so
Pro
much.
Wrestling around here does that. They got a school right on Main Street, and every so often they'll branch out to like Attleboro, Taunton. They'll branch out to like the surrounding towns, and those are the shows that actually draw.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I
We
can
have good
say
times.
this from a training standpoint. I can say this: students working with students is not going to get those students any better.
Y-
Promoters need to put trainers that run shows need to put their students in the ring with veterans, guys that have either been on TV or guys that have been in the business a very long time.
Mhm.
Because if your student is 6 months out of training and you put him in the ring with a guy who just got out of training, unless they have some God-given natural ability and they really, really paid attention, chances are you're not going to get a 4-star match out of them.
So you're feeling that you don't challenge yourself to progress? Is that pretty much?
You're not going to get any better wrestling the same 10 guys every month.
Mm.
You got to get out there. And I had Phil Barlise, promoter in New Jersey, mentioned to me, you're willing to drive 6 hours out here. Pinpoint where we are, take a string on the map and draw the circle. There's your 6-hour radius. Find any promotion in those areas up in Canada, down out in the Midwest, out in Ohio, Philly, down like Mid-South, West Virginia, North Carolina, shit like that. It's the only way you're going to branch out is to travel. If you want to succeed, you have to travel. You have to put the miles in.
Well, I really expected this to only last about, I don't know, 8 minutes.
Oh, you calling it
Because
quits already? We're going to have to do a part 2?
well, see, that's why I like doing that, because we don't want to give it all away. We want more to go
Brother, we haven't
back
even scratched the surface.
of course, because you've been in the game for much
surface, what we say.
from much longer than a lot of the men and women I've talked to, because I like to kind of I know everybody, when they're a star, that's fine and good, but I love to follow the progression from where they start. And I've been following some really cool men and women that are just from the very start, only in my last few years of being in the indie scene. And then when I met you, I'm like, who is this guy? And I go, okay, we've met. We had a hell of a time at that
And
event.
you're one of the lucky ones because you're a fan. You are a fan, so you are the guy that's buying the tickets to these shows. You're bringing your family and your friends out to these shows, saying, "Hey, come check these guys out." It's guys like you that we love, because without guys like you, this interview wouldn't be happening. Because obviously, RF Video, Hannibal, anybody else that does these shoot interview type podcasts, excuse me, they only want to talk to guys that have been there, done that, got the t-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, there's a lot of extremely talented individuals on the indie scene, not on TV. There's guys that nobody knows.
Right.
And I've seen guys matches, I can't remember their names, and I've been fully entertained. And this was 2 guys I had no idea who either one of them were, no idea about the promotion, in front of an empty crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And they put on a hell of a match. So it's a matter of getting out there. In the age of the internet, it's a great thing because now we don't have to worry about tape trades. We can just go on YouTube and Google independent wrestling or wrestling, and 20 million results will come up.
Mm-hmm.
So guys like you doing these shows like this is the reason that guys like me are still around. I'm not on my way to the top, and I'm not on my way at the bottom. I'm very happy where I am in the middle because it's where we're all going to end up anyway.
Well, I have to say it was a pleasure because you were very informative, and I didn't realize we were going to get I think the Mary Jane probably helped a little bit to keep Mr. Savage a little calmer for this whole little soiree that we had with the fans.
Hey, you know what though? Hey, it's part of my meet and greet package. Let's put it this way.
Well,
anybody wants to hang out with Steve Savage after a show? I'll be fucking surprised.
Oh, I gotta say it was a pleasant surprise to see this side of Steve Savage, because I only saw the dildo wanting to stick up places and the savage part of Steve Savage. So this, my friend, was really cool for me because now not only me, but if it's just my mom and dad watching this, dude, I apologize because I mean, come on.
Yeah, me too. Sorry, Mom.
Yeah, I know. Like if it's, I'm in my room doing these things, hoping that people
broke on what is hot.
Yeah, who the fuck knows who's watching these things? I have no clue. But dude, you've been really cool and open, and like, you know, business wise, it was really cool to kind of touch on some stuff. And I appreciate your time very much tonight, man. Really. And with that being said, because we did not scratch the surface, now that I've learned a little bit more about you, I am even I don't know how, I'm even more intrigued to get a follow-up with you maybe in the near future.
Anytime, man. I'm out of work for at least the next 3 months due to my shoot job shutting down. So I've got nothing better to fucking do. If the world decides to open back up, I already told you this. Come on down. My wife will cook dinner.
Dude, I'd love to make that happen. We can hang out. You're not going to use any dildos or anything on me, right?
Not for free.
Oh,
hey, if you're good at something, you never do it for free. I just happen to be good at smacking people in the face with a dick.
This was stirring the pot with that. This was smoking the pot, I guess, with Don Kincaid.
I'm stirring right. Look at this fucking shit. This is fucking hurt. This is horrible. This did not come from my fucking guy.
This was stirring the pot with Don Kincaid, and what a fantastic ending to this whole evening.
Steve Savage, what?
You've put an excellent cap on today's evening of the 3 interviews we had tonight. I can't thank you for your time, and hopefully we see you soon, my friend.
Yeah, one more thing. Brian Albertson, motherfucker, you want a piece of this? You got it. June 5th, WCWE. I'll fucking see you there, buddy.